Captaincy पे आए. Let's talk
Really
about Shaheen
understand
first
context.
before we get into Babar and context.
Okay,
I think let's talk
chalo.
about Shaheen. Um, I don't know. I'm really disappointed by the treatment that he's been given by the PCB. It's difficult to see. I feel like there has not been any rationale behind the decision to remove him as captain. At the same time, it seems like they're putting these main players that we have in our side, the leadership group, who have such a good relationship with each other at loggerheads with each other and sort of making them fight. It's almost like a divide and conquer strategy. कि इसको निकालो, उसको वापस डालो, without looking at the holistic picture. I don't think that they've dealt with it well at all. He clearly is not happy with the way he's been treated, and then you go ahead. Not only do you, before anything else, bro, like if you're gonna remove him from captaincy, at least have the decency to like talk to him, call him to have a meeting with him before you meet with Babar or any other alternatives. Meet with him, explain that okay, like the decision was made by a previous regime. We think like you're a core member of this side, but we don't think that you're quite ready to take the captaincy yet. Be honest enough to be able to have those conversations and look someone in the eye and tell him that, ताकि like what that will do is like sort of raise respect within him as well. Like, chalo, they at least value me enough to like explain this to me and stuff. But no, they just go behind each other's backs. बेचारा काकोल में ट्रेनिंग कर रहा है और पीछे से आके ये coup, they're doing a coup over his captaincy basically.
He had to have known कि मेरी कप्तानी तो जा रही है किसी
Yeah,
level पे,
well,
bro.
वो तो सबको पता चल गया था the day Mohsin Naqvi, who apparently is not involved in this decision himself and he's leaving it to the selectors, said in a press conference कि वो अभी मैं कह नहीं सकता कि Shaheen is going to be the captain or not. Regardless of whether you're going to make a change, the guy is your captain. You're treating him almost as if he's not the captain at all. Like
Yeah.
किसी ने तो उसको बनाया है ना कप्तान. So like
The second that press conference was given, Shaheen was not the
it was
captain
done.
anymore,
Yeah, it
bro.
was done for him. But
Right?
that's what I'm saying. Like he knew that, and we knew that, but no one actually called him and had a meeting with him and explained it to him. I mean, I hate to see it for a player who's given so much to your country, who has played through injury, sacrificed himself a lot, again and again to be able to be
Could we
treated
stop
like
on
that.
that for a second, bro? What you were saying right there with the injury, bro. All of this bullshit that he can't perform and uski in swing nahi aati, uski pace nahi hai, that's because this guy was playing for you fuckers when he shouldn't have been. First of all, right? And he's been doing that for the last year, where everybody else in the world they prioritize their player and the players prioritize themselves, and they say whether it's a World Cup or a T20 World Cup, you sit out. We want you at
Joffrey
100%.
Archer, Bumrah,
Joffrey Archer
look at these
hasn't
guys.
played. Joffrey Archer's played 2 games and we remember him as a legend, bro. He hasn't played for 5 years after that. Bumrah never plays unless he's 100%. Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood. This guy, matlab, warrior ka bacha hai, bro. He comes and he says, no, bro, like I'm gonna play. Pakistan's not gonna win without me. And he gives everything out there regardless of how he's looking. And you're treating him like this, of all people.
And
You're
then
treating
on
him
top of
like this.
that, you put up a statement saying कि oh Babar तो मेरा best friend है or Babar should be captain and I'm so happy and ये वो, and turns out कि Shaheen was sleeping at the time that this statement was released and no one had even um, consulted with him. So that is pathetic. And it's not just pathetic in terms of like not the right thing to do. It's like the height of stupidity, yaar. Like how stupid are you? Like you're gonna put words in someone's mouth and expect in this day and age that they're gonna stay quiet. Like मतलब हद होती है यार. Like incompetence भी एक जगह है और फिर ये like it's like almost like you can
That's
do
the
whatever you
thing, though,
want.
bro. Some guys might have stayed quiet in the past. Shaheen is not one of those bros, though,
To
bro.
be
Like
fair,
उसने तो
to
बोलना
give
था.
credit to him, कि he has dealt with it well.
But that's the stupid part, bro. If you waited like a day, उसको तो वही statement देना था ना अपने मुंह से.
वही
उसने
exactly.
कौन सा
He would
बोलना
have
था
said
कि
the
बाबर
same
को
thing.
निकालो.
वही.
उसने क्या बोलना था और bro, you guys are
Just
idiots,
consult with
man.
him, man. It just screams of short-sightedness to be able to remove Shaheen from captaincy on the basis of a PSL where he didn't play well. Like if
Yeah.
you're gonna take him away on the basis of one PSL, you also have to look at the fact that he won the last two PSLs, yeah.
Two.
So
And
like,
bro, call a fucking spade, bro. Don't give me any of this bullshit that this is a workload management or any of this shit, okay?
no,
Because if it was, you would have gotten rid of him before. And two, bro, if Lahore Qalandars won this PSL right now and that guy had been bowling 150, would he been removed as captain for
no
workload? No. These
chance.
guys don't give a shit to think about workload. They'd rather grind a guy into the ground in 2 years than get a 10-year career out of him because they're so short sighted. So no one should ever be fooled by this workload management bullshit. Like that's all it is. It's a soft corner for them to hide behind, and there's There's no genuineness behind that at all.
Mhm.
They did the guy dirty, bro. Even
All I have to.
whether you think he should be the captain or not, they did the
Mhm.
guy dirty, bro. There's no doubt about that.
Well, all I can say now is that they've put him in a position where he has to show how cruel and ruthless he can be. They've tested his patience, and even though he might be the kindest and sweetest person you've ever met, he'll now do things we were not capable of thinking that he, or that we were thinking that he's capable of doing. So he's come out and he's
Legit.
posted this on his social media, and like, to respect, yeah, आजकल के दौर में like players have their own social medias, they can post whatever they want. So I try like good on him to like be able to do that, and I hope that, you know, the thing is now you've alienated him. Forget if he gets along with Babar or if he's fine with the change and stuff. The PCB from their point of view has alienated him. Now he's going to think about everything twice before doing it, before sacrificing himself or playing through injury or you know, picking a Pakistan series over a league or things like that. He's going to think twice about everything, and uska hak banta hai ye
And he
karne ka.
should, bro.
If I was him, I
Bro,
would
he
do it as
should.
well.
Bro, I'm
Because these
telling you,
guys, they're not
yeah.
going to look out for you. So look out for yourself.
No, we were talking about it in one of our PSL podcasts before the rumor started that this is a possibility of him getting removed. I at least had a feeling that it might happen. So I'm not the slight bit surprised. Bro, अगर उसका World Cup खराब जाए, उसको drop भी कर देंगे. This is the
Yeah.
type of people you're dealing with here, right? So I don't blame him for looking out for himself, but it sucks because what had been happening for the previous 3 years was you were getting a Pakistan camp which was more united than any
Mhm.
team I'd ever seen play for Pakistan, where people were genuinely happy. And I think they're still good guys. Inshallah, they'll be able to work it out. But it's like you said, you're pitting these guys against each other. Maybe you're scared because what was so clear during Zaka Ashraf's reign, not reign,
Player
he's not a
power.
king. But yeah, like during his tenure,
They're
was
afraid
the
of
fact that
players. They're afraid of player
player
power.
power. They
Yeah.
didn't like the fact that Babar can sit there and raise the stakes in negotiations for how much guys got played paid in their contracts. He didn't like the commercial values these guys were getting. He didn't like that people were getting represented by similar agents, even if there was no conflict of
Mhm.
interest. He did not like player power. So now what do? They divide and they conquer. Make this guy hate each other. Start Wasim Akar part two. Keep them, away from each other. Keep them angry with each other. All these types of things. Kill the unity, and it's going to be able. It's going to be enable us to kind of rule over them in that sense. So I hope the players can see what's going on and rise above that. But yeah, it's very sad to see what's happened with, and the guy's a kid still, bro. Like he's been playing for Pakistan for so long, but 24 saal ka ho gaya, he just turned 24,
Mhm.
mashallah. So like, bro, like he's a young guy still. And I don't know, man. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I feel bad for him as well. Personal, you know, choice aside or whatever, you don't treat someone like this at all. Especially not one of
Yeah,
your best players, a superstar who's performed for you like in every situation, um, renowned throughout the world, and you're treating him like this. Then you have two superstars, right? Like yes, Shadab, Rizwan, etc. are leaders in the camp and they're big players, but the two superstars of Pakistan cricket are Shaheen Shah Afridi and Babar Azam, and you're basically pitting them against each other, and that's really sad. It goes back to that old
yeah,
British divide and conquer strategy. It feels like they're trying to almost create those camps, and you know, हमने देखा है पास में, bro. 90s में देखा है, 2000s में देखा है. There's like divisions in the camp. There's like Malik's gang versus like Yusuf's gang or whatever. And this has happened in the past that you have divisions in the camp, but there's one camp that is clear of that, and you're basically trying your best to create that.
at a time where Amir and Imad, these guys are coming back
और
in as
उनको भी
well,
बीच में
right?
जाके sprinkle
उनको
कर
भी
दिया
तुम
जब थोड़ा
बीच
मिर्च
में,
मसाला.
yeah, but yeah. Anyways, the one last point, I know I've said a lot about like daughter moving and Shaheen and all these types of things,
I know what
but
you're
bro,
gonna say.
like, bro, the PCB is so stupid, bro. If you're gonna remove two captains wrongly within under 6 months, and both times you don't make the right guy captain, so फिर Allah ही मालिक है, bro. I
वही
don't know what to
bro.
say. Rizwan, what has he done, bro?
He's
He's
right
pissed somebody
there.
off.
He's
Either
right
they
there.
don't like the fact that he's religious, or they don't think that he can be controlled. If you're gonna remove the guy twice, at least make it the right guy, bro. इन
And
लोगों से ये भी
like
नहीं
okay,
होता है.
अभी बाबर पे आएंगे, but like चलो आते हैं. Let's start with a timeline of what exactly went on over here over the past 6 months. So I'm going to start with the ODI World Cup. So yeah, um, obviously things are not going well for Pakistan during that World Cup. और फिर Zaka Ashraf साहब की statement आती है um, in the middle of the tournament, basically saying that the squad was picked by the captain and absolving himself and his team of any of the blame.
Yeah.
Basically throwing Babar under the bus completely in the middle
मैंने
of a
पूरा
tournament.
पूरा
In
पूरा
the
statement बताओ पूरा से we back our boys and we believe they can win but if they lose it's not my fault. That's basically what he said, bro.
I have
Stupid,
no
bro.
words. अच्छा फिर चलो सही है वो हो गया naturally. um, Looking at it from Babar's perspective, no one in their right minds will be able to succeed in a situation where you have all this going on in the background. Where you have statements coming out not backing you at all, saying that you're to blame for what's going on, what's wrong, वगैरह. At the same time, you have to go out and focus on cricket and perform in a world event where, as it is, your side is struggling. It's a lose-lose situation for everyone, right? It's a very it's almost you're backed into a corner and you can't do anything. And in post World Cup, they do the same thing. They push Babar into a corner and force him to resign as captain. Apparently, like they wanted to keep him as red ball captain. Like in usne, तीनों formats से resignation दे दी कि if you're gonna treat me like this, I'm not gonna be captain at all. And fair play to him because who would want to
Yeah.
work in those conditions,
After
right?
all that. And don't
Exactly.
forget that they didn't have the authority to remove him,
Yeah,
which is something that often gets lost in all of this, right?
yeah. It was a
मतलब
temporary
उनका
regime
घंटा
that did
कोई
not
हक था
have.
उस boy का, bro. Yeah,
कोई
Zaka
सीन ही
shouldn't
नहीं
have
था
been able to do
उनका.
any of this
और
stuff.
फिर apparently rumors चल रहे थे कि बाबर और रिजवान एक ही agency, or they have the same agent, and because of that, they're picking players who are managed by that agent for the national side.
और
फिर
उस चक्कर में
Zaka
इंजमाम को भी निकाल दिया as a
इंजमाम को
chief
भी निकाला.
selector.
Zaka Ashraf की leaked recording भी थी confirming that was what he thought of the whole situation. फिर से रिजवान को overlook किया probably because of that, and that was the reason was given for that. And Shaheen,
Hux, when they announced Shaheen as T20 captain and Shahan as Test captain, Shaheen T20 captain I will still give you because he was probably my second choice. But to think that Rizwan didn't get even one format captaincy,
yeah.
bro, like it reeked of politics. Even in November, whenever they made it, bro, Shan Masood, acha banda hai. He's a good captain too, tactically good player. English acha bolta hai, lekin BC wo aaya kahan se, bro? Like, come on, bro. What are we
Yeah.
actually talking about here?
And then Shahan was announced as red ball captain and Shaheen was announced as white ball captain. And then within like 20 minutes, they realized that the next ODI series is not for 12 months. So they reposted that statement with Shaheen as T20 captain.
To give themselves an out कि अगर हमने इसको निकालना भी है ना हमने तो नहीं बोला कि व्हाइट बॉल में कर रहा था हमने T20 का बोला सिर्फ.
But चलो उसको बना दिया कैप्टन. फिर न्यूजीलैंड की सीरीज आती है. I'm just talking about a white ball perspective. I'm not going to talk about the tests. Obviously, we lose 4-1 to New Zealand. I mean, there's poor performances in there, but like, let's be honest, like there was a lot of rotation done in that series. He took a lot of risks as captain. Whether that was his decision, whether it was the coaching staff, they gave a lot of players an
He
opportunity
broke up
to
the
perform.
opening partnership, which
He
is
broke
something
up-
we were asking for a while,
Exactly.
right? He's
And
the
gave
one who
Sam
did that.
Ayub an opportunity. So all of that was really commendable. And then all it takes is for one horrible season with Lahore Qalandars and then missing out on the PSL, and a lot of criticism of his captaincy. I feel like a lot of people were going above and beyond in the criticism of his captaincy even during the PSL.
To a point, जब उसने 50 भी मारी, they weren't ready to say that was a good innings.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly. And then at the same time, Rizwan, who is the best tactical captain in Pakistan, continues to lead his side remarkably well. Like that gets into another PSL final. Babar, free of the captaincy burden, looks back to his best with the bat, is playing like unique shots, is trying new things, being more aggressive in the power play. Shadab Khan leads Islamabad United to a PSL title, and then
दिमाग से.
we get back to the same what we talked about, where PCB chairman refuses to back Shaheen in a press conference. They meet Babar behind his back while he's in Kakul, announce Babar as the captain, release this bullshit statement on behalf of Shaheen, and suddenly we're where we are. So
Game
like it's
of
a
Thrones shit,
remarkable
bro,
6
honestly.
months, like even by PCB standards.
HBO उठा लो, bro. This is don't miss
जो
out on
बात है,
this
like it
before
could be a
someone else makes a
nice
series.
series.
Bro, like, and again, like Shaheen की कप्तानी PSL में अच्छी नहीं थी. I'll also say that. I'll call a spade a spade. लेकिन bro, like, come on, man, come on. Like, what are you giving? Like, how are you gonna give? Okay, if Babar goes and we lose the T20 World Cup, are you gonna remove him again? Then
Exactly. So this is my
what are you
point,
gonna
right?
do?
This is my point. Okay, so let's objectively speaking, regardless of how he was treated, he was not treated well. The PCB was shambolic. Saka Ashraf, like, was the decisions he made were like shameful. But having said all that, we are. I'm going to talk for myself. I was critical of Babar's captaincy. I think the end of the ODI World Cup seemed the right time to make a change. I'm not going to disagree with that. It seemed like it was the natural conclusion to Babar's tenure as captain. He'd been given 3 years at least, I think, in charge of the side, multiple tournaments where his team performed well. For the most part, it started well. T20 World Cup semi-finals, heartbreaking defeat. Next T20 World Cup, reached the final. There were obviously big games, Asia Cup final as well, where we lost big games where we should have won or we were in a position to win those games, and that's where like Babar's captaincy came under the scrutiny because it felt like in certain moments like those tactical shortcomings were becoming harder to ignore, and the fact that the ODI World Cup performance was so poor, um, it I was definitely agreed with the fact that okay, now is the right time to move on because I think there's a lot left on the table with regards to his captaincy, and you've sort of had that natural break. Someone else made the decision. You did not have to even take the difficult decision to remove Babar from captaincy because that's the hard part, right? For all of us, it wasn't that we couldn't acknowledge that Babar wasn't a great captain. We all knew that. The difficulty was removing him from the captain because we all loved him as a player and because the fact that he united the dressing room. And like, we didn't want a superstar player to be dealt with that way, like having to go through being sacked and all of that. But anyways, you make that difficult decision. In fact, someone else makes it for you, so even better. But then you undo all that and you go back to him. Like, what sense does
It's
that
so
make? Why? Why is he the captain? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think he should be the captain. Like, obviously we're gonna back him
okay.
now. I think like I once you're the captain, like I'm always of the
Yeah,
belief whether it be like cricket, whether it be like a manager in football or whatever for my team. Once like someone's in charge, I'm gonna back them until the end.
yeah.
But if we're objectively analyzing this, it's not a good decision.
No, Shay, if you look at it, what you're saying, right? Like, I don't. Both of us agree that he's not a great captain, but I don't think we think he's like a bad,
No,
terrible captain. Like, he's
I
okay.
think
He's
there's
an
better
okay
options.
captain.
Like, but
There's
yeah,
That's the thing. We can still go, inshallah, win the World Cup. I'm not doubting
yeah,
that.
yeah, 100%.
But the reason we wanted him removed was because we thought there were some better options, right?
And it
एक
was
तो
starting to
तुमने उस
affect his
बंदे को
batting. To be
it was
most,
starting to affect his back. And I don't want to hear anyone pulling out stats of like his captaincy numbers brought his captaincy brought his batting numbers up. And bilaterally मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? I'm talking about the tournaments जो कि वो it hurts me myself to say लेकिन चार लगातार tournament में वो flop हुआ था. There's no two ways around that. Not कि he flopped in four straight tournaments. T20 या तुम ODI World Cup, Asia Cup जिसको भी देख लो, he was nowhere near his level. So whether he said or not that it was affecting him, I think that it was affecting him. We wanted him removed because we thought there might have been a better option. अब उसको बनाया नहीं उस भाई को, वो तो अलग बात है ना, बिल्कुल. um, but bro, even for him you feel bad because like I remember you said after the Afghanistan game that that we lost in the World Cup, that Babar just at times in that World Cup cut a really lonely figure, where it seemed like the team was like capitulating around him and no one was giving him that same energy. So I could see him accepting the captaincy back because in his mind he's not a bad captain. In his mind he probably thought he was doing something, and he's like, bro, like I was going fine, and all this Zaka Ashraf bullshit started in the World Cup, and Naseem Shah was injured, and all this stuff happened. I was taking this team somewhere, including in the Test matches. So I can
and
understand him taking it back
I would be concerned if he didn't have that belief because as a player and as a
because
captain, like you have to have that
you should
backing of
feel that
yourself.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then aside from that, I don't know if him and Shaheen had a conversation. I don't know if Babar was pressured into taking the captaincy by like the PCB saying, "Bro, it's you or no one else. We have nowhere else to go." That type of stuff. All that stuff is true. I think that at the same time though, Babar missed out on being able to do something massive by not taking the captaincy here.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could have really united the team by just saying no here, to be completely honest. And again, that's not, he doesn't have to do that. Like, he can take the captaincy if he thinks he's the right guy. I just think that you get a few chances to do something that goes beyond
Mm-hmm.
the conventional, and to really unite the team
Mm-hmm.
and make a statement. And I thought he had one right there, and he might have just missed out on one, to be honest.
That's true. The other angle of things is that, like you have this leadership like group, and they all get along really well. They're willing to play under each other's captaincy. Like even now, I don't think Shaheen and Babar's personal relationship will be affected. Like I've already seen pictures of them
Thora,
together.
maybe Thora
Maybe
maybe
Thora Sa, but
initially, but I think they can work past that.
they're close enough to do that. But I think sometimes you have to take advantage of the fact that they're so close to each other as well. Yeah, like sabko saath bithao, and explain your decisions and be like, okay, like we want him back and this is the reason. That's the ultimate issue. Like they themselves cannot explain why they want Babar as captains and why they want Shaheen. Like workload is like an easy excuse to say, but are they actually going to drop Shaheen from any series, or are they ever going to
Yeah,
not play him?
yeah,
Like wo
exactly,
dekhna padega na. We'll have to
exactly.
see that. The other thing is that obviously, like you said, like there's an narrative that's building up that Babar accepted the captaincy behind Shaheen's back, and it's almost like leading to this Babar 2.0, Babar's villain arc almost as captain.
Which I thought had
Um,
to come on, to be honest, at a certain
which,
point.
but I don't blame him in this situation for looking out for himself once they are coming to him to offer him the captaincy,
Yeah,
and demanding
exactly.
demanding the fact that he wants control and selection, demanding being captain for an extended period of time. That is all
Fair
well
enough.
within his rights. If like you're someone who they're coming to, you're in a position of power then as it is, and you should be asking for all of that, because these are things that should be the bare minimum for a captain to receive, like control over selection, being backed
Yeah.
regardless of the performance in one-off tournament. My worry now is that whatever leeway he had in the past when he didn't perform or the team didn't win is gone now.
Yeah.
There is a lot of pressure for Babar Azam personally as captain to deliver now. Like the PCB and himself, by accepting this decision, have put him in a position where it's now all about results. If you don't
Yeah.
win this T20 World Cup, there's going to be hell to pay. Like वैसे भी पीछे पड़ जाते हैं हमारे मीडिया वाले फैंस वगैरह, but now given everything that's happened, what happens if the T20 World Cup goes badly? Um, you know,
I think it's a combination where what happened last time is not going to be accepted. Like if we get to the final and lose a close game, but he doesn't score runs, then he's in trouble. If he scores a lot of runs and we get out in the group stage anytime before the semi-final, then he's also in trouble. The only situation which he's okay is if he scores as many runs as he should be scoring, and Pakistan at the very least loses like a thriller in the semi-final, right? Like where his captaincy is, he doesn't make some crazy bowling change, or we don't end up not closing out a game where they're 5 wickets down, that we've seen so many times in the past in his captaincy at multiple levels of not just being able to close out a game. If it's a genuine like, oh, unlucky ho gaya, then I think that's the only situation which he's fine. Otherwise, like you said, the pressure really is on him now because you took it this time, right?
yeah,
You went and you took the captaincy this time. um I'm
and
afraid that his batting, I don't want him to go back into any type of a shell.
yeah.
I love the freedom that he was playing with. I don't know, man. I hope.
The one good thing that will come is that you'll see Sam and Babar open the batting. I'm like
Yeah, we'll see.
hundred percent
That's true.
100% sure of. Yeah, but the other thing is like, if Shaheen was captain and the T20 World Cup didn't go well, um, he still had sort of room to improve and grow, right? Because the thing is like the T20 World Cup could go badly regardless of who's captain. But if it goes badly and Babar is captain, now he doesn't have that rope. While if Shaheen was captain, you could still say, okay, young captain, learning the ropes, etc. Give him some time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now you don't have that, and I'm worried about his batting as well, because he definitely did get affected by it, and almost you could see in the PSL the weight of his shoulder. Now I don't know if the fact that was the case was because he wasn't playing for Pakistan and it was like a more relaxed environment in itself, but
I don't know. I saw a little bit of fuck you in him after the World Cup. Like when it came to like even the series in New Zealand, where he's like, "You fuckers want strike rate? I'll give you strike rate." वो मुझे काफी like नजर आया था. So I hope that doesn't go anywhere. Um, in the next few series, I hope he continues to play like that because,
yeah.
bro, it's if nothing else, he's such a great batsman that he should never have the pressure of any ball. He should go out there and look to dominate bowling attacks, right? Because he's just that good. So I hope that doesn't get lost in all of this somewhere.
Yeah, agreed. But देखना पड़ेगा. There's a lot still to talk about. Like I think we want to talk about the T20 World Cup and the way the side is shaping up as well. But I think this has been
वो बाद में कर
pretty
लेंगे.
long.
Even that
So
point is, जैसे तुम लोग बोल रहे थे उस दिन के, it's like the Avengers have now all come and
mm,
assembled.